The crossover game is where any automaker wants to play. Hyundai's no different. In 2013, they offered up a redesigned version of their popular Santa Fe. It now comes in two flavors. The standard Santa Fe, which is the 3-row crossover, and this, the Santa Fe Sport, which if you don't need as big a family, you got this compact guy. Let's dive in and see what it's all about. Hyundai design language over the last few years has gotten sharper and smarter, and this Santa Fe Sport here is no exception. You've got the family grille up front, you've got this great headlight treatment. Now this is a base trim, so the lower fascia is missing some of the elements that the higher spec 2-liter turbo would have, and it does a good job of pretending they're there, but we do wish it had those features, but to get those, you gotta spend the money. Coming down the side, you've got good size wheels. We like wheels with sidewall. Hopefully sidewall is coming back. No more 22-inch wheels thrown on cars that don't need them. The rest of the car is standard crossover styling with a few accent lines here and there. Automakers are throwing out these lines to help distinguish their cars from the rest of the pack. And when you look at this, you know it's a Hyundai. Gone are the days when Hyundai and even its cousin Kia would make cars that look like other cars. Now they look like Hyundais and Kias. The base Santa Fe Sport is saddled with a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's good for 190 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with a 6-speed automatic gearbox, and it's a solid combination. Now, I can't lie and say I wouldn't prefer the 2-liter turbo, because of course I would. After all, that 2-liter 4-cylinder forced induction mill makes 265 horsepower and 269 pound-feet of torque, and all of that torque is available from right around 1700 RPM up through the rev range. It's not even like you take a big fuel economy hit jumping up to the turbo. You lose about 1 mile per gallon in the city and on the highway and combined. So it's not an excuse. You basically just have to pay more money. Spend the money though, it's worth it. Inside we have a fairly smartly yet stylishly designed cabin. There's some nice shapes in here. There's round how everything comes to the center stack and then bows back out towards the corners of the car. You know, you got this fake looking wood, but it looks decent enough in here. You've got contrasting materials, which I kind of like the look of. Since this is a lower trim car, you don't have a nice big touchscreen, but what you do have works. I like that there's no items hidden behind lots of menus like you might have on a touchscreen. Instead, everything's front and center. You know where it is, you know how to get there quickly to change temperature, change tracks, change volume, stuff like that. The gauges are nicely designed. They almost look like watch faces, which is a nice little touch that Hyundai's been doing in a few of its cars. Everything falls easily to hand. One thing I do love about the interior are these cloth seats. Now on a higher level trim, you might get leather seats or fake leather. Not enough people offer cloth seats in higher trim levels. Some people like cloth seats. These ones in particular are pretty comfortable, and they'll keep you cool, they'll keep you warm, they'll do both without getting that scorchness you get from the leather. Another neat trick is this headrest. You can move it in and out, in and out. So you get the appropriate angle so you don't have to be like this, you don't have to be like this. You just find where you like it and you get comfortable and bam, there you go. Nice driving position. One of the things you first notice when you jump in this car is how nice and quiet the cabin is. Hyundai's NVH levels have come way up over the last few years, and this Santa Fe Sport is no exception. It's a nice, peaceful place to be. You could spend hours in here if your road trip or your commute requires that of you. As I mentioned earlier, you know, I prefer that 2-liter turbo motor just because I like more power. This 2.4 though, it's surprisingly smooth. It pairs quite well with this 6-speed automatic gearbox, and the car just kind of flows down the road, drama-free. If you put your foot in it, it gets loud, but it's a 4-cylinder. 4-cylinders are quirky like that, but it starts going, it starts moving, and like I said, no drama, just a basic, well-sorted vehicle. Now you pair that with the comfortable seats, the adequate infotainment stuff, and you've got a nice little package here. So a base Santa Fe Sport is going to run you right around $25,000, and you've got good features for that amount. If you want to step up to the 2-liter turbo, I'm pretty sure you're knocking on the door of $30,000, but you're getting a vehicle with about 270 pound-feet of torque in the mid-size crossover range, and you've got a host of features. If you can live without that, forced induction motor, this is a good choice. There are a lot of options in the space, and here you've got a vehicle that is now stylish, has a tremendous warranty, has these super comfortable cloth seats, and all in all produces a pretty darn good package for the money. Now for 2016, Hyundai has refined its electric power steering system a bit, and they keep fiddling with it, and it gets better and better. This was first evidenced when they launched the current generation Hyundai Genesis, and they teamed up with Lotus to refine that handling. And it shows. These steering sensation in these Hyundai vehicles aren't as rubber bandy as they used to be. They've come a long way, and they've come in a good direction. And it shows here in the Santa Fe Sport too. Since this is an electronically power-assisted steering system, Hyundai likes to throw in adjustments. You can have it in a normal mode, you hit a button, and then it goes into a sport mode, and it does tighten up a bit. You go into comfort, and it relaxes a bit. Now, sport is still artificially sporty. It's not super tight race car handling, but it shouldn't be. This is an inexpensive, relatively inexpensive crossover with a basic 4-cylinder engine. This is your basic transportation elevated. That's a good way to think about it.